Everybody, this is Elizabeth, and I am here to do my 4 week keto update, keto experiment update, and I have some confessions to make. So, for about 3 weeks, I was going really good. Yeah, about 3 weeks, I was going really good with keto. Um, in the first week, I lost 7 pounds. In the second week, I lost like a further 4 pounds or something like that. I lost 3.5 kilos in the first week and or like 3.3 or something like that. And then I lost like another like 2.2 kilos in the second week. And everything was going great. I made it through the keto flu and I was feeling amazing. And then week 3 happened and everything just kind of like got crazy. Um, my daughter, my 2-year-old, got hand, foot, and mouth. And my home life turned into chaos. And I did not plan accordingly. And so I started making a lot of mistakes. Not so much in week 3, not so much carb wise. I didn't have any carb problems, but I was definitely overeating my calories that I had allowed for myself. And because of that, um, I went from, let me think, I basically stalled out and just didn't lose any weight in the third week. In fact, I think I gained like almost a whole kilo. And um, I wish I had my paper in front of me. I took my measurements as well in that week because I realized like by that Wednesday or by maybe it was Thursday, I realized like I'm not losing weight like I should be. Like I could feel that like things were just not working. And so I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that a lot of people have like a stall out in weeks 3, 4, and 5. And apparently that's like a normal thing that happens. Well, my stress-laden ass decided that that would give me licensure to just do whatever the fuck I wanted. Given an inch, I took a kilometer. Little conversion joke. Anyway, um, because I was just kind of like stressed out and was like, I honestly did not give a flying you know what. I was tired, could not sleep. My daughter had a really bad version of the hand, foot, and mouth. And surprisingly, maybe this is TMI for a lot of people, but she ended up getting the rash, a blistering rash all over her buttocks. I was very surprised. And like down the back of her thighs, I didn't even know that was possible with hand, foot, and mouth. But it turns out that like the fecal matter is also like, infected and contagious. And so it just spread from her rectum. And yeah, welcome to Korea. There are some diseases here that are just worse than what you would expect from what you've seen in your own home countries. So I was really surprised. She was in a lot of pain. She didn't sleep. It was a rough week. Because of that, I gained weight. No, not because of that. I gained weight because I didn't plan properly, and I wasn't looking at my macros and watching my calories like I should have been doing. So my own fault there. This last week, week 4, um, was also more of the same. She's been recovering, and I actually just was able to start taking her back to Oranijib today, which is like daycare here in a way. And but last night, because I was being lazy and tired and just didn't feel like functioning as a proper human or an adult, or especially somebody who was on keto, I decided to order in food. And I ordered in pizza and chicken, which is like a really common combination here. And I didn't eat a lot of pizza. I had like maybe like a half of a slice of pizza, but I was already over like protein quotient, or I would have been already over my protein quotient. Like, no, I knew that I was, or like my macros were already bad for that day because I had had a very protein laden breakfast. And even though that was the only thing I had eaten, the majority of my protein grams had already been used for the day. So I knew eating chicken and pizza, my protein grams were already going to be like way over. And I just really wanted some pizza crust. And I thought, this is what I'll do. And um, I have some like I want to share my experience of what it feels like to have a cheat meal on keto. Because I was in keto for the last, for almost 4 weeks straight when I did this. And even though I had been going over calories, I was still keto. So it's not the same as like it's not carb loading when you're I mean you're having like a refeed day in a way, but you're staying in the keto realm of things, so you're not it's still you still stay in ketosis. Let's put it that way. So I've been doing all that stupid shit. I didn't lose any weight, but I was still in ketosis. And but last night, I have to admit, I was very surprised by how my body reacted physically to eating carbs, especially like the type of carbs that you eat when you eat pizza or like chicken sauce. I think um, it was like a soy sauce thing that they do here, and it's sweet. It's a little sweet, so there's obviously sugar in it. And the crust that was on the pizza was a black crust pizza, so it's like a rice, I think, glutinous rice crust, which is a thing here, which by the way is delicious. Um, but so I had some thinking like right before I was eating it, right? I had like all this like built up anticipation because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have some. I really want some, and I haven't had any, and I've been craving pizza, like real pizza, so I was really wanting it, right? And I thought this is gonna be like an explosion of ecstasy in my mouth. It wasn't. I was very surprised by how bland it tasted. Not the pizza itself, but the crust. I don't know why in my mind I thought that it would taste the way that I remembered it tasting, but it was not the same. I, in fact, as I was eating it, I was like, God, this is really bland. And I realized that as I'm eating this pizza, like in the moment as I'm eating the pizza, I was actually craving more of like the sauce, like the tomato sauce and the peppers and the cheese, that kind of mixture, the topping mixture. I actually wanted that more than the crust. And so it was really surprising to me. And even when I was eating the chicken, and that type of chicken, getting that like that soy sauce chicken is my favorite, it just wasn't the same. It it did not pack a punch the way I thought it would. It did not, it was not satisfying. In fact, even though I felt overly full and just stopped eating, I went back later, like an hour later, and wanted to eat again. And that's not something that I experienced during keto. Usually, once I eat on keto, I am full. For instance, today at lunch, I had lunch at 11 o'clock, or yeah, about, well, like 11:20. And it is now almost 6 p.m. So it's been roughly 6.5 hours. I'm not hungry. And that is how keto works. It is just, you're just not hungry. Once you've eaten, you feel satisfied. Um, it's hard to explain. So last night I had that, that half of a piece of pizza. And really what it was because my I was giving pizza to my 2-year-old and it was the pizza that she wasn't eating. So I was like, I'm gonna clean that up for you. Just like I used to do. Which is why I'm like this. And it was just it just was not satisfying. And even though I was ingesting a huge amount of carbs, even though I was ingesting a huge amount of protein because of the chicken, I actually wasn't ingesting that much fat in relation to everything else I was eating. And so I was not satisfied. And I went back later and had a very fatty snack to fill myself up so I could go to sleep or to feel satisfied, not to fill myself up. I was full, but to feel satisfied like in my head and in my mouth. And well, I wish I knew how to edit videos. I should have cut that out. But you get my point. So, and then on top of that, I had another surprising reaction. Um, I felt a rush of energy when I ate the pizza, but it wasn't like a good energy. It was like I had drank 3 cups of coffee, and I suddenly felt like jittery, and my heart was pounding, and I got lightheaded, and it was like a mixture between drinking too much coffee and drinking alcohol. It was a very weird feeling. Like if you've ever had Jaeger bombs where you have like alcohol mixed with Red Bull, it was that same sort of reaction in my body. And I couldn't sleep because of it feeling like this weird jittery weird heart palpitation sort of lightheadedness. Like I almost fell over a couple times. Like later in that day, like later that night, was I was trying to get ready for bed, I kind of felt like a little lightheaded and was kind of like dizzy in a way. It was a very strange feeling, and I was like, wow, this is really weird. And I just drank a bunch of water and was like, okay, whatever. And it's a good thing that because I was going to drink last night. I was like, you know what? I done fucked up my macros anyway. I might as well have myself a little. Okay. It's a good thing I didn't because I ended up not doing it because my daughter was still like being a pain in the. So I just didn't. And it's a good thing I didn't. The next day, this morning when I woke up, I felt like I had a hangover. I felt like I had a hangover. I barely crawled my ass out of the bed this morning. I felt like shit. My joints hurt, my hips hurt, my back hurts, and I haven't really had much physical pain since starting keto, since getting into ketosis. And it was very strange that I kind of like felt all of that joint pain that I used to experience all the time all over again suddenly, and it was kind of like it was a shock. And so I actually had to take painkillers this morning. I had to take some ibuprofen this morning. And I was just really sluggish and just like, it was like I was like having brain fog. I couldn't concentrate, didn't know what I wanted to do. And it's not like it has been for me on keto, which is, I'm wide awake. I'm just ripcord ready to go. It's not like I have a whole bunch of energy, but it's just like I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing today. And I just do it. And this afternoon, I fell asleep. I fell asleep while I was waiting for my students. And I haven't felt tired in the afternoon since starting keto. And so I feel like I'm going back through like the keto flu, which is, I was kind of hoping that I would have been as better adapted by now and would be able to like just go on. But that didn't happen. Um, I am experiencing the keto flu. This is part 1. I'm going to make another video for part 2 because this is already almost 15 minutes long and YouTube don't like me like that. So I'm going to finish this part up and then I'm going to make another one. So I will see you in a couple of seconds for part 2.